everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. This is a very fun episode. We are talking about the upcoming Summer Nights season and the movies that are going to be in May and Hallmark Channel and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And I'm so delighted today to have with me, we have Hannah and Katie from One Kiss Means Forever podcast. And thank you, ladies, so much for coming back.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And so, for people that have missed your previous episodes on this podcast, why don't you tell people a little bit about what you do on your podcast?
Sure. So we do reviews essentially of made for TV rom coms. We do one movie an episode and we break down what happens and then we discuss what makes it crazy, what makes it wonderful, what we liked, what we didn't like. And we try to do it in a funny way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to talk about all those tropes that we all tend to enjoy, and also rate the kisses, which is very important.
Yeah. Very, very important. And what to you makes for a really great Hallmark movie? What do you think's the most important factor?
That's a good question.
It's tough.
For me, I like it when you can really see them fall in love. Hannah and I were just having this conversation where I'm falling out of love with the ones where they have a boyfriend up until like the last minute because you can't really see the crushing happen. I like when the crushings happen, and I also like when we get a mid-movie kiss.
Yeah, that I like too. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I agree with those criteria as well. I think, yeah, I enjoy it more when there's like when they clearly like each other as people, not only as romantic partners. Like I'm not crazy as much about the ones where they're like they hate each other the whole
enemies to lovers. I think
it's not even the enemies to lovers so much. It's just like when they don't seem to like enjoy each other's company. But I guess that kind of falls into the like, when did they fall in love? I didn't see that happen.
The thing about enemies to lovers is that you have to make the switch just in time. Then because people are always trying to do Pride and Prejudice, and the thing about Pride and Prejudice is that Lizzie and Darcy are both shown as being beloved by everybody else in their life. It's just that they don't happen to get along, but we get to know them both as characters, that they're good people, and we like them both. We're rooting for them both despite them not liking each other, right? And we just are waiting for them to like each other because you know that they would be so good together. And that's what's so brilliant about what Jane Austen does. And I think that that's what they miss sometimes with romantic comedies with the enemies to lovers, is they forget to make the characters likable,
right?
So that you're rooting for them.
That's very true.
That's a good point.
Well, we are going to preview the movies coming up. We have one in April, we have a bunch in May, and then a bunch in June. They have moved up Summer Nights into June and gotten rid of June Brides. How do you feel about that?
I actually don't feel super bad because as someone who's planning their wedding currently, I have been kind of getting crazy with all of the wedding-centric movies of late. Like, there just seems to be a bridal theme, like, mostly this spring, and it's getting me a little bit, annoyed because I wanna look at things while I'm watching the movie now. I'm like, "Let me look at more dresses, and let me look at these things." So, I feel like I'm not missing out on, like, the wedding bells ringing if they skip that out. I think they've got it covered.
Yeah, I mean, so many of their movies have a wedding involved. It doesn't feel like
it needs to be a theme.
Yeah, like, okay, so like you just put them all at one time or you spread them out. What's the difference?
Spread them out. Give us the joy.
Well,
all the weddings.
I'm usually not a big fan of the wedding movies. There's obviously some that I like, but I hate the bridezilla trope so much.
Yeah,
And
no, those are bad. I also I don't like, you put all this effort into a wedding, and then the story is something goes wrong or they're about to break up, and it's sort of like, but I don't want to see that.
mhm,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
Even, like, the fact that they had been engaged once, I was like, "That's sad." Like, I that's a big
right,
deal. Anyway.
Even the
yeah,
ones that they've done recently, where like, you know, I also I find it very unrealistic for people to be like, let's do a wedding, next weekend.
right.
Like, stop it. Just stop it. don't
But
don't put this idea in people's heads,
yeah,
because at some point somebody's going to be like, can you come to my wedding tomorrow? And I'm going to lose my mind.
yeah, I just feel like a lot of times it ends up being all this party planning,
Mhm.
and I'm like, it's not interesting to me. And what cake are they gonna pick? What, and it can be done well, and
Yeah.
it can be good, but it's a tough sell for me.
Right.
That's
So
totally fair.
And can't
I'd
we have
much
people who are, like, not organized once? Like, these people are just so successful at getting it done. I'm like, "I'm not that person. I don't
yeah,
teach me
probably
how or not."
my favorite of this kind of movie that was wedding themes is probably Twinkle All the Way. Did you ever see that on Lifetime?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
cute.
Oh,
That was a cute
that
one.
was the best. And the bride was so chill and just great. And so when things go wrong, everything, they have the right spirit about it. And then the whole wedding, how it was pulled off, and him doing uh the backdrop so she gets her view was so cute. And then they do the bells, and I don't know, I loved how they pulled off that wedding. And they have the ice
Mhm.
cream sandwich cake, and it was great. That's the way to do it. Like, everybody's nice, and it's romantic, and it's sweet, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, even ones that everybody else loves, I'm not a big like, I did not like the Perfect Bride.
I actually never saw that one.
Yeah.
It was just one of those ones where I was like, eh, it's sort of on my, like, if it comes on at a time that's convenient, but I just can't be bothered.
Yeah, I did not. There's a girl who steals a wedding dress in it, and it was not for me.
Oh, I just
But
watched that one.
yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this that was just not that was so
Ugh,
uncomfortable on a lot of different
yeah,
levels.
right,
I mean, I liked the
exactly.
idea of, like, a bridal boot camp, that was cute, but, like, other than that, nah.
Mhm. Well, yeah, so it's no big loss to me, them getting rid of June brides. That's a
No.
plus. But I do kind of wonder what the heck they're gonna do in August now that they got rid of summer nights. Uh,
Give us more
or moved up
fall-themed
summer nights.
movies.
Yeah,
The
just
fall-themed
longer
ones
fall.
yeah, the fall ones are
Yeah.
my favorite. I think Hannah agrees, but
They are
Yeah.
often the better ones. Not
Mhm.
always, but
There's some
often.
good ones in fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
Uh
like, they co-opted Halloween for Christmas, so just,
that's
like,
true.
give us
yeah,
Halloween.
it would be nice to get at least one Halloween themed movie, because we really only had one. I mean, and October Kiss is probably the only one I can think of that has Halloween in it.
Uh, Midnight Masquerade technically does.
Mm, that's true. But it doesn't have trick or treating
No, it
True.
doesn't.
like October Kiss does.
Yeah, we only
It
have
is it
October
is
Kiss.
it is
Thank God it's
Halloween,
good.
but it's rough.
Um, all right. Well, let's dive into previewing these movies. And the first starts on the 24th of April. It got moved way up.
Mhm.
And it was this is an acquisition. It's Hearts Down Under. It was formerly known as Romance on the Menu. So if you're looking at IMDb, that's what it's under there as. With Cindy Busby and Tim Ross. This is director Rosie Lorday and writers Allison Spuck McNeely and Casey Tabanu. So it's all female team, which is kind of cool.
Holla.
And it's when New York restaurateur Caroline Wilson inherits a cafe in Lemon Myrtle Cove, Australia, she begins to fall in love with the place and its people, in particular the cafe's charming local chef, Simon Cook. So, Hannah, what's your first thoughts about this movie? What do you think?
So I had two simultaneous thoughts.
Mhm.
The first one was, didn't I see this movie and wasn't it called Falling in Love and wasn't it on Netflix?
Yeah.
um, so there is that bit. And I did a little tiny bit of research, meaning like 5 whole minutes, where this is a Australian Netflix movie. Like it did come out on Netflix, and I was like, you really, like, it's okay,
Well, and
fine.
there's so many of these kind of inherent
Yeah.
things. There was that one with Nikki DeLoach.
Yeah,
There's
like,
All in My Heart, obviously.
mhm, mhm.
There's a whole bunch.
There's a whole bunch, but like specifically the, like, let's take the American and put them in, Australia and New Zealand and have them not want to go home anymore.
Yeah.
It's so, and
There was
also,
the Africa one with Lacey Chabert.
right, right.
Nice.
This one also, it seems like based on the previews, there's some uh like handyman work that needs doing
Of course.
as well.
Mhm.
It just felt very, very similar. Um,
Yeah.
the other side of me thinks, please give me as many movies not set in the US as possible because I miss traveling so much.
Mhm.
I hope they go hold koalas because they're in Queensland, and Queensland, you can hold koalas. And I know this because I did it, and I love Australia.
Oh, you've been there. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
my brother worked there for 6 months, and I was like, well, I've got to go now because,
Yeah.
yeah, it has to happen. So I made it happen, and I can tell you all these rules about koala holding. It's very regulated, uh, but they are the cutest things, and they have claws, and it hurts a little bit, but they're
Oh
So
so
my
cute.
expect
gosh.
those rules when we tweet out, when Hannah
Yeah,
tweets
I,
out.
I will I will share all my random Australian knowledge that I have from having been there.
That's so cool. I would love to go there. I've always dreamed of seeing the Great Barrier Reef.
It's it's great. I highly recommend it. It's worth doing, but I like when I went, it was a long talk with my boss about how, can I please have a month off? Please, please, please.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. That's
And he was
great.
like, he was nice enough to be like, oh, you're never gonna do this again. It's fine, go.
Well, Katie, what do you think about this idea for this movie?
Well, kind of along the lines of what Hannah says, like I love Australia. I've never been. I've only ever been in my dreams, but
Yeah.
I've got a friend who lives there, so there's an open invitation someday
Oh my
when
gosh.
finances are possible. But the dog looks cute. But my biggest thing that I'm not looking forward to is I feel like every Cindy Busby movie we have is Cindy knows best. And this feels like the same kind of story. Like just Cindy Busby coming in, knowing everything that needs to be done in the way that it needs to be done. And y'all gonna find out that I'm the best at everything. And it just feels that way too. So someday I would like to see a movie where she's just a little bit more mellow.
Mhm.
That's all I'm just not looking forward to seeing that fight between them.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cindy as a human. She is a delight. We've had her on the show a couple times, but she has had a bunch of roles in a row where she's a little whiny,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and those don't tend to be my favorite. I think this last one, that Chasing Waterfalls, was pretty good. I liked that. So
That wasn't bad.
maybe going to different look the exotic places or
Maybe.
whatever. Maybe that's the thing, although the balloon movie wasn't very good. Um the
God, the balloon movie.
um it does make me nervous, with especially this is an acquisition, because they have not been
Mhm.
very good for her. I The last one that I really, I guess, loved of hers was the I think Royal Hearts. The one
That
where
was
she was that
sweet.
one was good. I liked that one, but I'm very a sucker for like grumpy old men. Like,
Yeah, that
like
one
so
felt like,
James Brolin.
We had James Brolin, it had such
Yeah,
beautiful scenery. That one just
yeah.
felt like a step above, and I did like her in that one as well.
But I did like the little preview that they gave of this. I think that this Tim Ross looks pretty dreamy. I've never seen him before.
Mhm.
Same.
Yeah.
They've also put out this picture promo, so a still where they're
Uh-huh.
dancing, and it
Uh-huh.
is very sexy looking.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
For like, I mean, in
Mhm.
context of Hallmark, everybody's clothed, everybody's,
Sure, of course.
but it was like, oh, I see these people very into each other in
Yeah.
this still, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm a hopeful on this. I hope it'll be fun. There's definitely those concerns. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it 2.5 beach balls.
I was there kinda with you. I said 2 beach balls myself, but
Yeah,
maybe it'll step it up.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm completely on par. I said 2.5, because I really want it to be good. I'm
yeah,
trying to keep an open mind.
yeah. All right. So the next one, this one, we might have to go back to doing snowflakes for this one because it's
Yeah,
random. I think is this year's the theme to have a Winterfest movie in every single season. I
I
think that
don't
might
know
be the
this one.
plan.
This one, I did think to myself, did they mess up? Is this wrong? Did
Yeah, because it's baby, it's cold inside,
Which is
and
a hilarious title.
it's a hilarious title. And it's Jocelyn Houdin and Steve Lund, and I love Steve Lund.
Who
he
doesn't?
is,
Am I right?
oh yeah, he is so dreamy.
Or all?
I I think the Christmas Cottage is one of the most underrated of recent years. I think that
I
one is
love the
so
Christmas
good.
Cottage.
Yeah, it's so good, and he is so swoon worthy in that movie. Uh-huh. And the plot is when a travel agent up for promotion is directed to forgo her tropical vacation to instead visit the world famous ice hotel, she discovers her sacrifices are more than compensated. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this movie was originally going to have Jana Kramer in it,
Mm.
Oh,
and then it got canceled because of the pandemic. I mean, she told us that when we interviewed Jana Kramer. She told us there was an ice hotel movie that she was going to be making, but then it got canceled. So and then I think this was the re-teaming up. I think it could be that they were making two totally different Ice Hotel movies, and that's possible, but I'm pretty
right. I
sure.
mean, they have in fact made a nice hotel movie already.
Yeah.
Yes. So this was
Can
going
you
to be the
really have
second one.
3?
uh, but yeah, I mean, aside from the weird seasonal thing, which probably most people that aren't in this Hallmark sphere are like, what's the big deal? And we're like, oh, they can't do it. They're messing with us. But I don't know, Katie, what do you think about this one?
I feel when this was first on the list that you sent, I was like I did feel, is this a mistake? Like, is this like the wrong time? They just had an extra. They need to like put the stepchild in somewhere. But that being said, I enjoyed the first Hotel movie just fine. It was pretty cool. I think the title is great. I'm glad that they went there.
Yeah.
And I like those 2 actors a lot. I like pretty much every movie I see for them, it's fine, except for from Friend to
Friend to
Fiancé.
fiance.
That one I just will never, that doesn't exist in our brains.
Yeah. My
Um,
friend Jen, she hates that movie so much.
it's just get your stuff together, friends. Come on. Like, how many times can you sheepily go, "We're not in love, tee hee hee," before I throttle you?
Well,
Anyway.
yeah, that one was an acquisition, you could tell, because they just don't do the whole mean girl thing anymore in Hallmark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was.
true.
Yeah, they don't.
Mm.
She does seem a bit younger than him, but it's only, I looked it up, it's only 6 years difference, but
That's not that bad for Hallmark.
it's not that
No.
bad. But I don't know, it seems like more than that. But I am a sucker for obviously Christmas movies are my favorite, and this isn't exactly Christmas, but it's like Christmas adjacent. So
I like the
Sure.
winter movies for sure.
I mean, I would be perfectly fine if they had a Christmas movie in every single season.
Yeah, no, I would
It was
also kind of be fine with that.
Yeah, if they
as
were
well.
like,
Um,
this is Christmas in May. Yay!
I love it.
But the big draw here is Steve Lund. He is the thing that makes me excited because he's super dreamy. Although his Christmas movie was kind of a snooze.
well, part of it was they forgot to cut his hair.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like actively bad. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, pretty much every single movie this last Christmas season that was a mystery of them, like they had either like a charm or a ring or a
Mhm.
letter or a photograph or something like that they were looking into, that was almost always were super boring.
I agree.
They're very
Agreed.
And there
was-
were a lot of them.
a
There were.
lot.
Which is a shame
There
because I
was-
love a good mystery, but sometimes it's just like,
Yeah.
who has the time?
It's
Who-
just,
Why aren't they not watching Hallmark movies? That's what I'm busy with.
yeah, it's just that kind of research is just not very compelling, and so it's like, ugh. The best one, in my opinion, was the one, the time for us to come home, whatever it was, that one with
Oh,
Lacey
so-
Chabert.
Yeah, okay.
That one
the
was
one
the
with
best
the
one.
title that everyone was like, wait, what?
Time for us to finally make the journey and come home for Christmastide someday.
Yeah,
But then, because then it was personal. It was personal research. It wasn't something that they found in a hole in the wall. It was like,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and because some of them was like, why do you even care about this? You're spending your entire Christmas looking into this stranger's ring or stranger's bracelet that you don't
Mhm.
even know. This, it's not like it's your mother's or it's your, it's
Right.
just like, oh, I have to return this. And I forget which is the one, where it was one on Lifetime, I think, where they offer her a great deal of money to buy the ring or the whatever she's looking into. And she refused. She's like, I can't sell it. And you're like, you don't even know these people. Why on earth would you care? Like, be so invested.
Oh.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I give this one 1.5. I mean, I'm definitely less interested than the Cindy Busby movie. I give it 1 Steve Lund. That's what I give this one.
We'll rate it for Steve Lund.
What do you think, Hannah?
I'm a little bit nicer than you in this. I think I'm gonna go with 2.
Okay.
And it's almost exclusively because of the actors. I don't think we've seen this
Yeah.
pairing before,
No.
and I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm
can
gonna
see that.
I'm gonna say 2.5 Steve Lunds, maybe even 3, just because it just sounds so bonkers bananas, and these 2 actors probably will make that work. So I'm interested in seeing either the fun roller coaster or the train wreck that this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because
All
it
right.
could only be one of those 2 options.
Yeah. Have you got a Hallmarky, Hardy, Postable, or Sleuther in your life? Are you looking for the perfect gift for your loved one? Look no further than the Hallmarkies podcast merch store. We have designs from artists like Jessica Miller and Carrie at Hallmark Comics. At the store, you can declare your team, like hashtag Team Lucas or hashtag Team Nathan. And you can also have your hashtag shirts with hashtag Postables, hashtag Hardies, hashtag Goodies. We've got the Love Me Like series where you can get designs such as Love Me Like Nick Loves Aurora. And there's also great stories beyond Hallmark, like Anne and Gilbert from Anne of Green Gables, or even Han and Leia from Star Wars. And it's not just shirts, but notebooks, mugs, pillows, and cell phone cases. Your support of the merch store helps keep the podcast going, and we are so appreciative. There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or follow the link in the description. That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies. So we have on the 15th of May, we have Sweet Caroline, and this is stars Lacey Chabert and Tyler Hines, and it's marketing executive Josie returns home when she becomes the unexpected guardian of her niece and nephew. While there, she reconnects with Cooper, her high school boyfriend. And the little trailer for this, it looked pretty emotional.
I
This
know.
Yeah, my first thought was, "Damn it, this is gonna make me cry, isn't it?"
yeah.
Like,
Like,
Hallmark isn't
eh,
supposed to make you cry. That's why we have movies and mysteries.
like I would think this is a Hall of Fame if they were
Yeah.
still doing Hall of Fames. This
yeah,
screams Hall of Fame.
it is like, when the entire premise is my sibling who is my best friend has died, and now I get her children instead
Yeah.
of my parents. And oh no. Like, I
Yeah.
have to learn to parent and deal with my life without my favorite person.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Yeah. It reminds me of Raising Helen.
Yeah, I was just gonna think yep,
Yeah.
thank you. I was gonna say the same thing.
Mm.
That's such a good movie. Or it was
It
fun
is.
anyway.
It's one of Gary Marshall's, I think, best of recent of the later group of his movies. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something different from Hallmark. They haven't been doing these weepies like except for Hall of Fame. That's the only
Mhm.
time you would see something like this. And so I kind of appreciate this. Definitely seems like something different for Tyler, which is I wonder if that's why he picked it, was try to, do something different. But it'll be interesting to see how he does with the more dramatic material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's often in the more comedic ones, that's true.
hmm And we already know they have good chemistry because at least I like Winter and Vale quite a
I do
bit.
too.
I thought that was good.
I'd
And
make strudel with
Lacey,
either of them.
yeah, Lacey had a good 2020. I mean, I loved the Christmas Waltz. Like I said, she did the best of all the Finding Things movies. And, and then she also had Winter and Vale, which was good, and the crosswords was fine.
Yeah.
So pretty good year, I would say. She was
Yeah.
the queen of in our podcast awards. She was Hallmark Queen. So
I mean, there's a part of me that's like, but isn't she just default queen?
yeah,
I don't ever consider her not queen. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Candace would probably
I mean,
have
yeah.
a fight about that, but I would
Yeah.
say that Candace, when I said she does Aurora, and
Yeah,
then
but other than Aurora, she does Christmas, and that's like
yeah,
it.
I'd say
So
where
like
Lacey
Candace is
is
like
year round.
yeah, Candace is like the figurehead queen, while Lacey's the queen that like gets down with the people and does the work.
I forget who won our first year of the podcast awards. The Queen. It might have been Jill. I can't remember.
Mm.
But yeah, the Lacey is definitely a contender. That's for sure. Every year.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised. Well, not really surprised, but I feel like lately, being a Heine myself, I feel like lately Tyler has been in the role where he's the guy from back home that the girl like reconnects with. And I
Mhm.
don't necessarily love him in that role because it just sometimes it just kind of seems like girl comes home like he did this with It Was Always You or whatever. And then we just recently watched Mechanics of Love, which was a not Hallmark movie, but a similar
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
where the girl comes home, he's there, he has this idea of what she was like and like helps her find that again, which I have a little bit of a
Mhm.
problem with. I also think he needs a haircut, but that's okay. I can just look at his face forever and ever. But I'm hoping
Yeah.
that this role brings a little bit something extra to that archetype because I'm a little sick of him having like all the answers and being that like bedrock of a
Yeah.
person only.
I'm with you. That was my problem with It Was Always You, was that he was mansplaining
Yes.
everything to her.
Mhm.
Every decision that she made was wrong. and needed to be corrected, and that irritated me.
Absolutely.
I prefer him in something like Falling for You, where
Yeah.
he's more of a business kind of colleague type of situation, and he's more supportive of what she wants to do. So I agree with you
That
on
one's the
that.
best one anyway, so.
It is the best one. It has such a good kiss, and it has such.
It's our
It's so
10
good.
kiss. That's
Yeah.
been the
Oh
only
yeah.
one so far. Well, besides it's Christmas Eve, that is like kiss meter at a 10.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 So, yeah. So, Hannah, what would you give this one, this Sweet Carolina?
I am gonna give it 3.25 beach balls. I'm excited to see it. Like it's not. I'm a little apprehensive, but I'm excited to see it.
What about what about you, Katie?
I'm gonna say 3 even beach balls or sea
Yeah.
turtles or something since this is North Carolina. I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah, I agree. I also give it 3. I'm intrigued, but we'll see if they can pull it off. It's definitely going to be trickier. It's
Yeah.
hard to make those kind of Nicholas Sparksian type of
Mm,
romantic
Yeah.
don't get me
stories.
started on Nicholas Sparks.
This is definitely nudging towards that, though.
Oh, yes, it
It is
is.
in these type of romances, and this is in that ballpark, I think, and that's tough to pull off. It's
Right.
tough to pull off, but all right. Then we have You Had Me at Aloha, and this is Pascal Hutton and Kavan Smith. And it's when the host of a popular travel show resigns, the network enlists Paige to step in for the next season set in Hawaii. Unbeknownst to her, they have also hired Ben, who likes to push everything to the extreme. As these two new co hosts clash over their opposing ideas for production, they grapple with the fact that not only do they need each other to further their careers, but they also balance each other on and off screen. And this sounds exactly like the one, I can't think of the name, with Alison Sweeney and Mark Lucas.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm
Good
so
Morning Christmas.
I'm
Yes.
so mad about this movie for so many. There's like everything about it is made to make me angry
Oh, yeah.
because. So first of all, and of course, most importantly, it's airing on my birthday,
Happy
which I'm
birthday.
very mad about
Uh-oh.
because I'm like, I've seen this movie. I I don't care about these co-host movies.
Mhm.
There's so many of them and I don't really like any of them.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
Love in Store, kind of. Like, I did like that one.
I liked that. I also actually, now that I think about it, maybe I do really like this formula because I actually liked Good Morning Christmas quite a bit.
I was bored by it.
I liked
Oh yeah.
them. I didn't like the story.
Yeah, I like them, but I don't care for this like push and pull
Uh-huh.
in the work environment. My entire career hangs in your hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Like
can be done.
stress.
Yeah, it can't. Because I also really like Love and Store as well. I also liked the one with Christopher Paloha and Carly Pope, the Hanukkah one, where they had
Oh,
to work on the what's it
yeah.
called? I
I
can't think of it.
honestly, I remember that being
But
a movie, and I can't tell you a single thing about
but
it.
this is just today's episode of can't remember names to movies, but it can be terrible. Like I did not like at all the one with Taylor. I think it was Matching Hearts with Taylor Cole and Ryan Pavey. I didn't
Yes.
like that one
That was one
at
Yeah.
that came
all.
to my mind when you were talking about on paper it should work, but in practice it
Hmm.
doesn't. Like, when you say Taylor Cole and Ryan Pavey in one movie, you're like, "Give it to me. This is gonna be great." And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's just like, "This is what we get?" Sad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love Hawaii. I'm a huge sucker for anything Hawaiian or Hawaii. So that alone makes me want to love this one. And I like Pascal and Havan. I think they're the best part of When Calls the Heart, especially Pascal. She's so good, and uh, I think that they have an energy. And even though I wasn't a big fan of the Perfect Bride movies, I do like them together, and so that makes me intrigued. But I feel like Kavan Smith is the wrong person to be playing the, what did they describe him into, that he's the extreme,
Extreme.
everything
Yeah.
to the extreme.
Right. I have a problem with the casting
Mm-hmm.
of this movie. Like, based on the descriptions, I'm like, this feels wrong. It also, like, I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm kind of like, okay, Pascal and Kavan, like, I
I
just mix it up a little bit. Like,
I
you're always
feel,
together.
yeah, I mean, I feel like Tyler honestly would be the person to do the Guide to the Extreme.
Oh my god, I would love to see that so
Yeah,
much. Also, like, in a bathing suit in Hawaii, just, like, please, I'm about to
yeah.
cry. Like, give me that movie, please.
Or just somebody with a little bit more of an edge to them, or a little more comedy to them, like, I don't
Yeah.
know,
Paul
Jonathan
Campbell.
Bennett or Paul Campbell. Yeah, Paul Campbell, someone like that, that's a little more,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
it
see.
feels a little weird. Also, you know, it's a lot of these co-host movies often skew slightly older in terms of the casting,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it just like this description sounds like very young people to me.
Mhm. Now, let me see here. So Pascal wrote on Instagram. She said, she had a picture, and she said, "That's a wrap on you. Had me at Aloha, and I just wanted to share my profound gratitude to the beautiful island of Oahu and our talented crew here in Hawaii for bringing the spirit of Aloha to our little movie. This was a dream project for Kevin Smith and me, and I can't wait to share it with all of you June 5th on Hallmark Channel." So I mean, it's the best place I've ever been is Hawaii. So
Yes.
I get that. I really do. Um, I just for the Hawaii, just for, I know I'm gonna love all of the scenery, and I really do like Pascal and Kevin, and so despite my reservations about the story, I am gonna give it 3 beach balls. What about you, Katie?
I was right there with you. I literally wrote, "I don't love the co-host plots, but it's Hawaii, so who cares?" Hawaii is also one of my favorite places on the planet, so I'm gonna say 3 3 palm trees, coconuts for me.
What about you, Anna?
I mean, I feel like I played my hand, but I'm so not excited about it.
Yeah.
This is a 1.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I'm
Yeah.
just I mean, that being said, I'm 100% going to be watching it. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. I mean,
so whatever,
the
but
these previews, they don't really matter at all. So don't get upset. Next, we have on the 12th, we have The Baker's Son. And this is Eloise Mumford and Brant Darty. And the plot is that Matt's passion transforms his bread from bland to brilliant. But when his bread loses its magic, the island locals panic and turn to Annie, Matt's childhood friend and true love, for help. What on earth? Um, Katie, what do you think about this?
I am tickled by this plot.
Yeah,
First of all, Brant Doherty
magic
being a
bread.
chef is just, like, my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of, like, not Merry Christmas, To Christmas Kiss, whichever one that
Uh
was where
huh.
he was a
I
cook.
think it is Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry
Oh
Christmas.
yeah.
He's adorable. He's one of my favorite kind of, leads in these things. He's just cute to look at. But this is sort of reminding me of, like Water for Chocolate, or, like, just I want more magic. I want more magical realism. I think this is adorable. It's gonna be totally bonkers bananas. I was reading an article about it before we got on, and it sounded like it was supposed to be a much larger scope of a film, so they were worried about cutting certain things, so hopefully they kept everything that's good. Um, I'm
Oh,
exci
interesting.
I'm excited about just
Yeah.
his journey.
I I think they have to be careful with the island locals panic. That sentence is a little awkward. But um, yeah, I mean, Eloise Mumford, she's great. Granddaughter, I feel like that's a good match. I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds like
No,
that'll work.
no pun intended. Like Brent Doherty. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know. This sounds like a weird, like the magic. Is it actually magic bread? And then they bring her on. It's almost like the Good Witch or something.
So cool.
Yeah, right. I feel like this is telling us one thing and may not deliver on it, and it's unclear to me.
Yeah.
Like it's possible, it's just like it's not magical realism, but I kind of hope it is.
It's like cooking with love. I understand it, but to me, like bread is already magic, and if someone's bread doesn't
Mhm.
taste good because he's like given up on life, I find that magical, even if it's just in
Yeah.
my own brain.
And they have to bring in the bread magic expert
Yes.
Yeah,
and to save the bread.
right. I also like the idea that like an island is panicking because the person who makes some bread is not
Yeah.
making bread as good. Like that is essentially
Right.
what we're talking about.
And based on some of the photos I was seeing, it looks like they have some period costume because there's, like, a Pioneer Day. Maybe I like, so
Oh,
it just seems crazy, and
yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, and I wonder what island it is.
Don't know.
The
I
island locals.
I just kind of assumed it was like a Martha's Vineyard-esque kind of
Oh,
place.
Yeah.
okay, like that kind of island. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Like off the coast.
Because we haven't seen a trailer or anything for
No.
this, so we don't know. Because I was thinking, oh, it's like Tahiti or something like that, and I'm like, this could get weird, but we have no idea. We have no idea. So yeah, I'm intrigued enough. It sounds pretty bonkers. It could be a total nightmare, but I'm gonna give it three beach balls of excitement.
Yeah, I think out of I think I also have to give it 3. I also love, for whatever reason, um Baker's son is just a crazy name for this, and I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, we'll see if they keep it, and they might
Yeah,
change it.
right. I
Knowing
would not
Hallmark,
be surprised if they do.
no, no. What about you, Katie?
I mean, no surprise. I'm gonna give this 4 baguettes. I think
Oh, for heck yeah.
I'm just excited. It just sounds like so
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yay.
All right, next we have Her Pen Pal, and this stars Mallory Jansen and Joss Sassy. And its event planner Victoria can't wait to attend and plan her best friend's wedding in Paris. But when she finds out her ex is bringing a date, Victoria reconnects with her French childhood pen pal. So,
Here's your wedding movie.
yeah. And
Yes.
I don't know anyone that's like, I'm so excited to plan this event for my friend. Really?
Yeah,
But that's a wedding
I
planner.
I
Hannah's
have
good
so
at
many.
planning things. Just saying.
But like that doesn't mean like I am sitting here being like, can I please plan your wedding
Yeah.
in Paris where
So
I do not
excited.
live? That I and that you're not going to pay me for.
I mean, I hope that they would at least compensate her in some way because that's actually her job. Like
But,
it's not like you're just
you know,
asking your buddy,
in
but
these movies, it's never spelled out, and I always worry about it.
yeah, I know it's true. But I love this idea of her connecting with the pen pal, and it being because I love like French Kiss
Yeah.
and movies like that, and I think it could be really good. I don't know this Josh Sassy that well. He has done some Christmas movies.
I
Both
couldn't.
of
But
them are in Gallivant, and if you
Yeah, I was
haven't
thinking
seen
Gallivant.
Gallivant,
oh yeah.
yeah, like it's like
I love Gallivant. I forgot about that.
so fun. So I just kind of hope he has the big old beard because that's pretty great.
Yeah.
I,
No,
I
that's true. I guess he hasn't done a Christmas. Never mind. I was thinking of someone else. But yeah, Gallivant and some other shows. And I don't know. I just think that could be really fun.
Yes.
I think it has the potential for fun, and I think it also has the potential as a real flop. Like this could,
Yeah.
I worry it's going to go in the Paris Wine and Romance or whatever that movie was called
Mm.
that I
Uh-huh.
was like supremely underwhelmed by.
But part of the problem with that movie was that Jen Lilly was so pregnant
And drinking
that it
wine.
was hard.
Comical? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give her an even bigger clutch to hide behind.
Yeah. And she
and have her drink wine for scene after
Right.
scene after scene.
Yeah. And she would just be giving out wine bottles like it was her business card. It was hilarious. She'd be like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Here's this bottle of wine."
Have fun. Taste
Yeah.
it. Bye.
Well, she used her magical Hallmark Mary Poppins bag that she had to have brought, so it's fine.
I just kind of hope that the base of their relationship is that they had a good pen pal like writing back, and that they enjoy each other. I hope that they don't find something to fight about, some like ridiculous thing to like be annoyed with each other for most of the movie. I'm just hoping that they have a true Parisian pen pal romance and
Mhm.
nothing crazy.
It just sounds funny to me, the idea of him kind of pretending to be her boyfriend at this wedding, and they've only really known each other from letters. I feel like
Mhm.
that has potential to be
Yeah.
a really good story. We don't know the writers. If I knew that this was Julie Sherman Wolfe or Nina Wyman, I would be like, yes, this is going to be hilarious because they're so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
But
I think this could hinge a lot on the writing.
hmm yeah. So I'm just, I guess, the queen of kindness today. I'm gonna give it 3. I'm a hopeful. Hopeful it'll be good. Uh, what about you, Hannah?
I think I'm hopeful, but I think I'm gonna have to stick with 2
2.
on
Yeah.
this.
Eh,
Again, it's you know, doesn't mean anything. It's not like I'm not gonna watch it.
that's right. What do you think, Katie?
I'm gonna go same with you, Rachel. I'm gonna say 3. It just kind of I'm hoping for the best. So I'm gonna continue with baguettes since we're in Paris. 3
Okay, good.
baguettes.
All right, last one for summer nights is the Sand Dollar Cove, and this stars Chad Michael Murray and Ali Chaika.
I
Sorry,
think it's Makalka.
McCulka. Okay, McCulka.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm not
Ali
I'm not
McCulka.
100% sure, but I did just watch all of iZombie in a very short amount
Oh,
of time.
okay. State Development Manager Ellie is sent by her company to the quaint seaside Connecticut town of Sand Dollar Cove to acquire the beachfront property they've chosen as the site for their new resort. Brody, the charming local who holds the deed, wants to make sure the town's beloved pier, where many memories have been made over the years, remains intact. Uh, Ellie and Brody spend time together while she tries to figure out a way to make the deal work, and the undeniable connection between them grows. So, this one to me sounds like kind of a snooze. I have to say, yeah, I mean, the whole we're going to save the hotel. We have the person from the, I mean, didn't we just get this with the Ireland movie from coming to do the resort? And I don't know, just a lot of times those stories are kind of boring to me.
Yeah.
That's very fair. Now that you say the Ireland movie, it's probably a better description, but like my thought was the beach house.
Yep. Chad Michael Murray is a
um,
charming local.
on the beach, you
Yep.
gotta save the beach.
Mhm. And the sea turtle.
It's not like this is not a new plot.
They have done this plot so many times.
So many times. This is like in the description, there are like 4 hallmarks, and that's without watching the movie.
Yeah, and this does sound like one that would have been also a Hallmark Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because it's based on a book, and just the I don't know, it just sounds very Hall of Famey to me.
Yeah.
Right. I worry about it for like the reasons that we've talked about, but also when they do the book ones, I feel like there's going to be so much in the book that we're just not going to get, and
Yeah.
so it's going to really miss what made the story good.
I'm a little, even though I'm not familiar with her at all, I do think I'm a little worried about, because this movie will rise and fall on chemistry.
Yeah.
And are they going to have the chemistry that they need? I mean, the
Right.
last couple movies with Chad Michael Murray, I felt like he's phoned it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially that Winterfest movie last year. That was not good.
The one with what's her face when she was pregnant and she was on
Yeah,
a dating
Talia
show. Yeah.
Ricci. Yeah, that one. The dating show without a single piece of lighting or sound
Yeah.
equipment.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was
That
bad.
was yeah. No.
That was very bad.
I agree. I feel like it's it's been like a year or two since a good Chad Michael Murray movie, and I feel like the last one I saw was Road to Christmas.
Yeah, that one was good. I liked that
Um
one.
and so like I think it could work. Again, I did just watch Olive Eye Zombie, and she is like the best friend on
Oh,
that.
okay.
And has a it's a fun, ridiculous show. But like I think they both have it in them. It's do they bring it?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and
So
yeah,
what score would you give it?
I think I'm gonna go with 2 in that
Hmm.
I'm it's almost neutral of like this has the potential of being a great movie.
Hmm.
I just don't know that they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I don't really trust that they're gonna do that.
Yeah. I'll give it a 2. I feel like it's being a little bit generous because that plot just sounds so boring to me. But I don't know. What do you think, Katie?
I'm gonna go ahead and say 2.5, only because sometimes Chad Michael Murray is excellent bait to get fiance Billy to watch these things with me
Ooh.
or watch these things for me, which he did during Christmas for the Chad Michael Murray Lifetime one.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Billy. So I'm gonna just give it a little bit extra just because that's fun. But I agree with you. I think this kind of sounds like a little bit of a looking for wedding dresses while this one is on.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame you. Okay, let's quickly go through the mysteries. So we have Poison in Paradise, Martha's Vineyard mystery. And this is when a local waitress is found dead on the beach and a mysterious deposit appears in Z's bank account. Martha's Vineyard proves to be all but the simple, scenic life Jeff Jackson was after. So more murder in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, these people keep this is another like how many people can they kill off before there are no people left on Martha's Vineyard? Uh,
Yeah, I kind of wonder if this will be the last of these. I mean, if he's leaving Chesapeake Shores, is he leaving Hallmark altogether? I have no knowledge of that in any
I
way. I
No
just kind of
idea.
know.
speculate, wonder.
Uh, who knows? I'm I don't know how to feel about these. I keep wanting the Martha's Vineyard mysteries to grab me more than they do.
Hmm.
I think every single one I have thought, "Oh, I'm excited," and then like halfway through, like forgotten what I was watching.
Yeah.
Like I honestly cannot tell you who died in any of them.
I have to be honest, like, right at the top. I only had murders, Hallmark movies and mysteries for about a year, and so I haven't dived into a lot of the franchises, and so all of the ones that we're about to talk, I have not seen any. I know I'm missing the boat on Aurora Tea Garden. I know that they're adorable, but for me, if it's not, like, kitschy, like the Murder, She Baked or,
Hmm.
I'm going to be watching I love the crossword puzzle mysteries because those are fun, and I love crossword
Hmm.
puzzles, and I'm gonna be watching the matchmaker ones 'cause those sound really funny. And
So you
cute.
like the more sort of campy
I do. I need
more.
camp because for me, sometimes these movies are of a certain quality. If there's not a little bit of camp, they just take
Mhm.
themselves too seriously, and I can't.
Yeah. So I would give this one, I'll give it a 2.5. They've been all right for me. I didn't actually watch the one in January. I just was so busy with Sundance, and I
Hmm.
never caught up with it. But they've been okay. It'll probably be fine.
Yeah,
But
I would agree that it'll probably be, fine. And
mhm,
meh.
yeah.
I I
Okay.
I'd give
Then
it a 2 as well. So,
yeah. Then next we have Morning Show Mysteries: Murder Ever After. And this is TV host Billy Blessings finds bones in the basement of an old friend's house, unearthing a dark secret that threatens to unravel the lives of the most powerful people in her city. And speaking of campy, the morning show
Mhm.
mysteries, I mean, having a morning show chef get involved in solving crimes
Love it.
is definitely ridiculous. And I'm a little bit, I don't know how to feel about the fact that Rick Fox has been replaced and now it's Colin Lawrence, and
Mm.
they've been building up their relationship between Billy and Rick Fox's character, and now I guess he's gone. Like it's just struggling a little bit with that.
do you know which number this is in the morning show mysteries? Like,
I wanna
I
say it's
don't
6 based on
something like that.
the look that I was trying to see if I could watch them, and there seemed to be, like, at least 5, so
okay, because this is one of the uh, murder shows that I haven't
I
watched.
think it
Because
is the sixth. I think you're right.
yeah, because you know, like they do occasionally replace people because they have to for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason. Um, but this feels deep in it to replace um when they haven't been replaced before. I'm thinking like Aurora Tea Garden where they replaced
Right.
the guy a couple times before they settled. Um
Right. Yeah. It does feel a little bit surprising that, I mean, what's Rick Fox doing? Like what happened? I don't know. It feels a little. It's not like I see him in lots of other stuff. Like what is? But
mm,
who knows? But these have been fine. They're not my favorite, if I'm honest. I probably like them less than the Martha's Vineyard mysteries, because at least with Martha's Vineyard there's like natural avenues for them to become an amateur sleuth, because she works in the morgue.
right.
He's a former detective. It makes a little more sense. So I don't know. I will give this one 1.5. I'm nervous about this new
Mm,
and then replacing Rick
That
Fox.
that is very fair. I feel like there's probably a reason why this is not a series that I've started,
Uh huh.
because I'm also the kind of person that I will not watch this movie without watching all the other ones before it.
Oh
Like
really?
that is that's
Yeah.
that is my personality.
Yeah. I still haven't watched all of the Auroras. I still haven't,
Hannah's worked
because
very hard to watch them
I
all.
there's
I
so
am
many.
there are so many. I watch them all in a very short amount of time. I did a few of the like, okay, they're doing like a marathon starting at number 4. So if I can get up through number 4, then I can watch the marathon.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Katie, what would you give?
I'd say that if I jump on this bandwagon, I think that the plot just kinda sounds like something that we've seen. Like, what was the one with, Julie Wagner, where they found a body in the house, and it just kinda sounds like the same plot to me.
Hmm.
So no
Yeah.
thanks. The 1.5.
Okay. And then we have the Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries: Cold Feet and a Cold Case. And we don't know anything really about this one except for the fact that our friend Mary Lou Henner told us that it is the wedding movie. That, I mean, she didn't just tell
Aw.
us, she said it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that this is the wedding movie, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like there's no, you don't need to know anything else about it,
right.
because it's like these people have been engaged for the past, I don't know, like 4 of them, 3 or
Yep.
4 of them.
Yep.
Um, and they've been together since like movie 7, I think.
Yes.
7 or 8.
Well,
This is number, I think,
been
16.
It's been a while. It's been a while, and
Yeah, it's like,
and
okay.
a great name, Cold Feet and Cold Case.
Yeah.
It's a great name, but if they have cold
Yeah.
feet, I'm sad.
Well, I hope they don't really have cold feet, because the one thing I will say is that their relationship that they've established on this show is just very trusting of each other,
Yeah.
and just being
No,
like,
I
"No,
would
I
be
really."
really mad if she legit has cold feet. I don't think that'll happen, but I think they just use the name.
Yeah,
It's a great
But
name.
I
uh,
hope they this sounds to me like the kind of thing where they are going to find a body at the wedding venue.
yeah. And yeah, I think that's very likely. Yes. Or something involving the wedding.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
there's something old because it's a cold case.
Yeah, that
It's
would be
old
good.
and blue. Ugh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and speaking of Mary Lou Henner, this is gonna air on Friday, and so tomorrow, when this airs, we are having our patron activity event, for our Patreon, where we are having Mary Lou Henner is joining us, and she's doing a Q&A for patrons only, and it's your chance to
Wow.
ask Mary Lou Henner anything that you wanna ask her, and it's only $2 a month to join the Patreon. So if you're listening, we'll have a link in the description, and you should check it out. It's a pretty cool opportunity. It's super nice of her. We're very grateful for her doing that. She is just the best, and that'll be a chance you can ask her about anything or a tea garden or anything you want. It'll be
That's
great.
super cool. That is super
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, I mean, just on the fact that it's the wedding, and I think it'll be fun, I think I will give this a 3.
I am going to agree that I, you know, this seems sort of like we always needed this movie. So great, give it to me.
Yeah.
I'll say the
All
same.
right.
Someday I'll watch them. It'll be great.
Very good. Okay, there we go. We did it. We previewed
Yay!
the
Woo!
whole season. So let us know what you think. What are you excited about coming up? We would love to hear in the comment section or on Twitter. So just let us know. And where can people follow you both and find your podcast?
So we're on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at One Kiss Means Forever. And that's 1 like the number and 4 like the number. You know,
Yes.
using the numerals. We're
Right.
live
Right.
tweeting like all of them.
Yeah.
We're just on, we're on all the time.
Yeah, they do a great job. You all really should follow them on Twitter. It's
Thank you.
good. And you're on all the podcast platforms. Then
Yes,
One Kiss
we're
Means
on all the,
Forever.
exactly. We just write it out. And we come out every couple weeks. We have a new episode, and we try to stick to some kind of seasonal theme to a point, but only to a point.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a
Very
free for
good.
all.
I love it. I think it's great. So y'all should definitely check that out and make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews for both of our podcasts. It helps us out so much to have those 5-star reviews. People can find the show. And then we also have our merch store, which has tons of Hallmark inspired merch. And they're having a bunch of sales this month, so make sure to check
Woohoo.
that out. And then we also have the Patreon, like we said, and we would really appreciate any support on the Patreon. So thanks so much, ladies. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. We love being on
Thank
your
Yes.
show.
you.
So appreciate it.
And yes, and we'll talk to you all later. And bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy summer.